Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Murrayfield. We are here for Rangers' second pre-season game that's not been played behind closed doors of the 2024-25 season. It is Rangers against Manchester United here at Murrayfield. Of course, the venue, as the rain started, it was quite a nice day. The rain started to fall just a few moments ago. It was a venue where we thought Rangers might end up playing some of the start of next season after delays to Ibrox. Turns out it will just be today, and Rangers are facing a slightly second-string Manchester United team as they prepare to gear up to be back here in a few weeks' time to kick off their season against Hearts. We're going to talk through the team, as ever, the Manchester United team as well, answer a few comments before the start of the match. The Rangers team, as you can see in front of you, Butland, Sterling, Suter, Davies and Chefty gets his start at left-back. Thought it might be Ridvan, but again, perhaps we'll see Rangers play with two 45s or certainly make a lot of changes in the second half. So Chefty does start at left back for Rangers today. Midfield pairing of Mohamed Diomande and Connor Barron, of course. Nico Raskin was injured in last week's friendly against Ajax. He's going to be out for 5 to 6 weeks. Philippe Clement said yesterday. So a big blow for him, and also the depth that Rangers really lack in that area. Raskin hasn't had a run, has he, in the team really under Clement due to injury and form and other situations as well. But it is Connor Barron who's looked pretty impressive so far, who lines up next to Mohamed Diomande. Ahead of those two, Tom Lawrence will play at number 10. Of course, Tom Lawrence, who came through the Manchester United Academy. Oscar Cortez on the left, Scott Wright on the right, and Cyril Dessers up top. The Rangers bench is Kelly, Badonakis, Ridvan, Goldson, Matondo, Kieran Dowell, Leon Balogun, Leon King, Ross McCausland, McKinnon, Lowry and Danilo, who of course returned with some minutes last week after a long time out through injury. We'll read the Manchester United team as well. I guess the two big headlines from the Manchester United team is that Casemiro starts, he's their captain. Jadon Sancho's in, but Amad Diallo, who of course spent time on loan at Ibrox himself a few seasons ago, does start. But United, it's not a first team starting 11. There's a few names within there, but a lot of younger players as well. They go with Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Murray, Evans, Mount, Collier, Wheatley, Yoro, Amad, Casemiro and Jadon Sancho. But we'll focus first on the Rangers team and get through to some comments as well. I mean, the first thing that stands out looking at that team to me is that Rangers don't yet, and yes, it's a few weeks of the season to go. We know that the situation with James Tavernier is progressing, and the more outgoings that happen, the more incomings are going to happen at Rangers as well. That's not a team that you look at, I think, and say it's ready to start the season tomorrow by any stretch of the imagination. Is the attacking area stronger than the one that finished last season? No, probably not. Now, there's some context to that. Obviously, Todd Cantwell continuing his return from injury. He's had a bit start pre-season so far. He's not involved. Rangers still have a lot of depth and quality on the right-hand side. I think Ross McCausland, his first choice, he's on the bench. And again, you'd expect Philippe Clement to make a couple of changes, specifically in that second half. But it is Wright who starts on the right-hand side. No Hamza Egamane. Clement obviously referenced him yesterday in his Rangers TV interview. So it is Cyril Dessers who leads the line. And an interesting to see that it's Davies and Suter as a centre-back partnership. Presumably it's going to be Goldson and Balogun for part of the second half. If you were to ask me now who is going to be Rangers starting two centre-backs away at Hearts in a few weeks' time, I wouldn't know. I'd imagine that Liam Balogun would be in there, but we're yet to really see what Rangers' strongest back four is. I think Dujon Sterling is going to be there as James Tavernier looks set to leave the club, given that interest from him in Turkey. He's going to be your right back. Jeffrey most likely to be your backup left back to Ridvan Yilmaz, who's on the bench today as well. But still a lot of work, I think you would say, to do with this squad. It'll be interesting to see Rangers, how they play today, what they've perhaps been working on in pre-season, how they deal with what is a test against a Manchester United team that are weakened. They have a lot of young players in their squad, but still a lot of quality. Casemiro's won a few trophies in his time, hasn't he? And a number of other top quality players in their starting 11. We will see how they fare. Let's get to a few comments ahead of this game between Rangers and Man Utd. Luke kicking us off by saying this rebuild needs to speed up. We are so weak. I mean, yeah, I think Luke's point of view is one that a lot of people will share, because in any given summer, when there has been the European Championships and when that has maybe delayed the transfer market somewhat, and you'd signed 5 players, 6 permanently if you include Oscar Cortez, you're maybe thinking, okay, the squad is looking stronger. The difficulty is, as Jack Butland comes out in front of me to my left, the difficulty is that Rangers are working from a standing start or weaker than a standing start. They lost 5 players out of contract at the tail end of last season. They didn't get any money incoming from those players leaving. Of course, we heard from Philippe Clement pretty frankly recently, telling members of the press out in pre-season that money needs to come in before big signings can be made. But he's also reiterated that, look, Rangers need to think long term. They can't rush things. They can't think short term in this transfer window, because thinking short term is what has effectively got them into this same situation season after season. But I mean, where I am in agreement with you, Luke, is you look at that front four in particular, and you're thinking ahead to the Champions League qualifiers less than a month away. You're thinking ahead to that difficult game away at Tynecastle. Rangers absolutely need strength and depth in those areas. Scott says no in Seattle on the bench. Obviously, a few players not involved today. James Tavernier and Todd Cantwell too as well. Matt Gunner asking what time is kickoff and where can you watch it? 4 o'clock kickoff, Matt. I believe you can watch it on Rangers TV. I think Maka saying afternoon, interesting side. Clement said the subs bench will make up the side against Birmingham. Yeah, Rangers obviously have 3 games in the next 7 days, don't they? They travel down to Birmingham and then they're travelling over to Berlin next weekend. We'll be there. Chris will be over in Berlin to bring you full coverage of that. And I wonder how much we can read into, is one of these teams the first choice team that Clement has in mind and is the other second choice, or is he just trying to spread the minutes as much as possible? I would expect that to be the case, but then the question is, aside from all these other conversations we're having in pre-season about transfers, about fitness, about injuries, Rangers also need a strong starting 11 to go and win at Tynecastle in a few weeks, don't they? And there's still a lot of question marks about exactly who makes up that complement. GB saying maybe this is Scott Wright's year. Yeah, Scott Wright, who this time last year obviously was given an interview saying that he was off to speak to a Turkish club, wasn't he, about potentially leaving Ibrox. But he starts on the right-hand side today. And James says, good to see Cortez. He's definitely the one in the attacking complement, the one player, James, that I'm most excited about watching at the start of this season. We didn't see much of Oscar Cortez before injury, but what we did see of him was impressive. It was a signing that Rangers were really excited to get over the line, because he is an exciting young player. And at one point over the past couple of years before that injury, and before he made a move to France, where he didn't get much in terms of match minutes, he was one of Colombian football's most exciting young players. He's still only 20, obviously still recovering from that injury, but he's brave, he can go on both sides, and we're yet to really see him over a consistent number of matches and minutes. So we'll be intrigued to see what he can do up against this Manchester United defence today. Hugo Bear is saying no Cantwell yet. Come on, reference yesterday that Todd Cantwell was not fit enough to be part of the squad today and will instead play with the B team tomorrow. He obviously was involved in the behind closed doors game against Hamilton, which was prior to Rangers heading out to the Netherlands for pre-season, but is not involved today. Stuart saying, when is that B team game that Campbell is playing? I believe that is going to be taking place tomorrow, Stuart. Let's leave it there. Lots more comments coming in, but we're going to speak at full time in a little bit more depth. Obviously, the game is at 4 o'clock kickoff. As referenced, you can get all your coverage with the Rangers Review after the game. We'll be speaking to members of the Rangers staff and team here at Murrayfield, and maybe some reaction from the Manchester United camp as well. We'll have instant analysis on the website, all the best coverage with all the breaking news that's going to be coming out, as we talked about in yesterday's morning briefing. The James Tavernier news is gathering pace, whether it be breaking news, inside stories, match analysis, whatever type of Rangers content you want, we will have it over on the Rangers Review. I'll be live at some point after the game to react to today's friendly. Intrigued to see how Rangers get on. Definitely my reaction as you look at this squad, and a lot more strength and depth is needed. But Clement has to work with what he has at the moment, and I think we should also be putting some focus on what type of football he's playing. Is that football going to bring success? And what has been developed and worked on in pre-season compared to last season. Stay with us. After the game, we'll be live on our YouTube channel, and stay with us on social media. In the meantime, until then, thanks for watching. Bye for now.